It's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the sales cardiologist, and we help you make more sales with less effort. And I'm really excited today because we're getting ready to have a money conversation. I'm going to answer the question, how do I handle objections? How do I handle objections? And what perfect time to do that than right now when we're teaching you how to train your 7-figure sales team. Let's imagine for a moment. You've went out and you recruited the right person. You've onboarded the right person to your company. You've even trained the right person inside your company. Now they're on the sales appointment, speaking to your prospects, and they're so close to getting the deal, the contract, the order, the speaking engagement, the coaching program. They're so close, and now the prospect has a few objections. And the question becomes, how do we get them to handle that objection? What can we say? What kind of objections are out there? What is the magic formula, if you would? What's the step-by-step process? Because you want to train your team. I get it. You want to make sure they have the easy steps. And you've now arrived at that distinction. That one key distinction. And that one key distinction is your greatest potential in your business exists in your sales team. So you can make the most amount of money with your sales team. You can reach more folks with your sales team. You can be multiple places at the same time with your sales team. You can use social media with your sales team. In fact, once you've trained your 7-figure sales team, don't listen to how that sounds, 7 figures. Think about how that feels. Someone other than you is out there and they're bringing in the business. And it doesn't include you. Doesn't that feel good? Isn't that perfect? So let's answer the question, how to handle objections. And let's add a little tagline on there. Let's say with confidence and ease. Say that one time. Say that one time. Say, how to handle objections with confidence and ease. That's right. That's right. So you don't come across as sounding salesy, but you keep the conversation going. Doesn't that already feel good to you? It certainly feels good to me. So today's topic, let me make sure, I would like to check, make sure you can hear me, you can see me. Let's make sure we can get this up. Okay. Today's topic is how to handle objections with confidence and ease. Now, in the last episode we just had a fantastic episode just a moment ago. In the last episode, we talked specifically in the last episode about how to close. And in other episodes, we talked about how to recruit. In other episodes, we talked about how to generate leads. If you missed those episodes and you're just joining in, you're just listening for the first time, hit the notification button. Hit the notification button. But if you're ready to have your own 7-figure sales team, if you truly want to train your sales team to overcome objections with confidence and ease, here's what I'm going to do. Let's highlight you, the entrepreneur. Let's highlight you, the business owner. Let's highlight you, the person that gets up every single day to solve a problem and you're in this industry called entrepreneurship. And perhaps entrepreneurship is the fastest way to financial freedom for you. So here's what I'd like you to do. Look below, hit the share button. Look below, hit the share button. Type in your first name, type in your last name. Tell us where you're from, but more importantly, just type in the name of your business, your website, or your Facebook page. I want to go back and acknowledge you. I just want to acknowledge you because you're here, that tells me that you're purpose-driven. You're here, that tells me that you want to make more sales with less effort. You're here, you're watching now, that tells me that you believe there's so much potential inside of you. And not me personally, but the content that I'm going to share with you today is going to help you unleash that potential. And you're going to stay the course with what sales superstars do. Sales superstars, they hold one common belief, and that is belief to always be helping. And that's going to be you now. Isn't that good? Isn't that exciting? Okay, so let's go into how to handle objections. You know, some folks, when they look at objections, they look at it from a different perspective. They're always thinking, oh my gosh, Shay, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? The Rock is one of my favorite. I mean, I have a lot of folks out there that I admire, mentors, some that I've never met, like The Rock. But I love what he says here. He says, when life puts you in a tough situation, which for you, by the way, guess what that tough situation is? I'll tell you, objections. When life puts you in tough situations, don't say, why me? Instead, say, bring it, baby, bring it. That's right, that's right. Don't say, when you get an objection, don't say, why me? I want you to be like The Rock. Say, bring it, baby, bring it. That's right. That's what I want you to do. You want the Shay Brown remix version? Okay. No problem. I'm part of the Puff Daddy generation, okay? We believe in we believe in the remix, baby. So let me give you the remix. Jot this down in your notes. Don't become concerned when a natural part of the sales process happens. Let me say that again. Don't become concerned when a natural part of the sales process happens. A natural part of the sales process is you get to the end of your presentation, you may ask for the order, and the customer has some objections. And I think that's natural. It's okay. And you're going to be ready for it. I love a guy by the name of Bill Grove. I believe Bill Grove is the one that started NSA, National Speakers Association. You should Google Bill Grove. He's no longer with us. But one of the things that he used to say all the time to speakers is this: I ain't scared because I am prepared. Put that in your notes. I ain't scared because I am prepared. And that's what we're going to do here. When you learn how to handle objections with confidence and ease, when you train your 7-figure sales team, they won't be scared because they'll be prepared. Now, I've been there. I've been in the field, and I know when I used to ask for the order or ask the client to take a step, and they used to come back with some objections. If I was on the phone, I might have been talking, and I'm going back and forth, and then as soon as they have some objection, I'm like, oh, man. And the energy just drains out of me. It used to just drain out of me. In fact, I was so surprised when I used to get those objections. And I don't know why I was surprised, because it was happening over and over and over and over and over again. And maybe it's happening to you. So let's first step back and let's take a look at what we have to deal with right now. Let's first step back and let's say, okay, how do I handle objections? Okay. There are only 3 ways to handle an objection. 3 ways. You might want to jot these 3 ways down in your notes. Let's go ahead and jot them down. The first way you can handle an objection is you can ignore the objection. Now, I don't do well teaching that. Some other folks teach that, where when a person says something, they act like they never even heard them. They just keep on talking, like they never even heard them. I don't teach that. That just doesn't work for my style. It does work for other folks. And why is that? You might say, Shay, why is it that folks never stop? Why do they just ignore it like they didn't even hear it? I'll tell you why. Because the first objection is not the true objection. And so they're already prepared to say, that's not even the first objection. Okay, the second way you can handle objection, second objection in the body of your presentation. So while you're talking to the person, early on in your presentation, could be on the first call, could be the second time you meet, the third time, fourth time, it doesn't matter. Somewhere in your presentation, you're going to handle objections. You're going to talk about the objections you're getting, and you're going to feel where they are early on. And you can do that. You can build objections into the presentation, which I'll talk about in a moment. And so you can already know they don't have the money, they don't have the time. They're working with someone. They're concerned about spending money again and not sure if they're going to get what they've been promised. Rock says, when life puts you in tough situations, don't say, why me? Just say, bring it. And you can bring it to them early on. Bring it, baby. Bring it. I love it. Oh, look, this is a money conversation. I'm telling you right now, you train your team. You don't have a team. It's just you right now. Okay, you're the team. You are the team. Now, if you're saying out there, I don't like the sales shade, I don't even like the way, I don't want to come across that way. Look, if you don't like to sell, the best thing you can do is hire someone that does. And let them go solve the problems while you do something else with your time. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so the first way we can do is we can ignore the objection. The second way we can handle objection is we know now we can handle it in the body of the presentation. So there's techniques that we can use early on in the body of the presentation. The third way we can handle objection, third way. The third way we can have is we can have this banter back and forth. So we're going to imagine we're playing tennis. I love Serena Williams and Venus Williams. Look, those sisters are bad to the bone. They're like the best in the world. If you think about playing tennis, when you think of a banter going back and forth, is I say something, how do you feel about moving forward? We learned that on the last one, right? You give a Chaco. The prospect gets it. I don't have the money. My turn. I've got to say something. Boom. And now there's banter. Back. Forth. Back. Forth. And so you're going to have that conversation. Some people call it the hot potato metaphor. I say something, you say something, you get the picture. And that's what happens with how most folks sell. They go through their presentation, they have a conversation, they get to the end, and then they ask the prospect to take the step. And then there's this dialogue that goes back and forth, back and forth. And that's another way we can handle objection. And we're going to get to some language patterns. We're going to get to the formula. I got the secret formula right here. But I want you to have this distinction because it's a good feeling to know there's only 3 ways to handle objection. Now, there are 2 kinds of objections. Jot this down in your notes. There's 2 kinds. I want you to have this. I'm sharing some fundamental things because some of you have a sales team that's very experienced. But if they can get connected back to the fundamentals, maybe another $15,000 or $20,000 of commission in their pocket, of which your company gets to take the rest of the profit. Yeah. Good feeling, isn't it? Isn't it a good feeling? Revenue, no labor. Someone says, Shay, what's the #1 reason that I should focus on a 7-figure sales team? Like, what's the #1 reason? You know what I said? Generate revenue, no labor. Generate revenue does not include your labor. Generate revenue, in many, many cases, no cost. The objection is, Shay, I can't afford one. I said, okay. They generate revenue at no cost to you. I can't afford one. They generate revenue, no labor. I'm going to tell you right now, if building a 7-figure sales team wasn't part of your plan, I'm going to ask you to really do that. Not because you showed up here. You might show up here because someone shared this VIP access and you're able to watch and participate, and I acknowledge you for doing that. But if it's not part of your plan, send me a personal message. Like text in, hit the share button, say, I need a team. And myself or one of my certified revenue coaches, we're going to reach out to you. And let's just talk about what it will look like if you have a team. You cannot afford not to have a team. It's possible. You could be leaving 20, 30, some of you $50,000 or more every single month because you didn't have a team, because you could only do so much. You can only do so much. Success is a team sport. I want you to hear me. This is a money conversation. Yeah, I've got some good stuff. I'm going to get to this, but I want you to get this. I want you to feel the passion that's coming from me. I want you to know this is from my heart through those fiber optic lines to your heart. Get a 7-figure sales team, in all seriousness. Okay, there's 2 kinds of objections. Let me get back to our regularly scheduled training here because I kind of got sidetracked. There's a minor objection, so let's take minor. Then there's major. Minor objection, major objection. You can remember that. When you train your team, minor objection, major objection. See, you can do that. Now, a minor objection, I would call those objections where the prospect needs a little more clarity. Maybe they got to think about it. maybe have to think about how they're going to move their finances around. Maybe have to make sure this is the right time, it's the right fit. They're minor, but they're important, but they're at least considering it. They're there. And we're going to talk about how to handle those. And those are probably 99% of the true objections. And then there's a major objection. A big major objection. Can you imagine what the major objection is? Like, seriously. No. Okay. If I said, what's the number one objection you're facing right now in your business? Okay. Someone right now, look below, hit the share button, and put my number one, put the number one objection in my industry is what? Blank. The number one objection in my industry is what? Blank. The number one objection in your industry is what? Okay. Let's just do a little game. Let's just say I had to figure it out. It was you and I've got to figure out your number one objection. Well, first, let me give you a distinction. There's only 7 to 12 common objections in the industry. So, like if you had to come up with objections right now, let me just make sure I can get this here, make sure I can pull this up over here, make sure I can see what's going on here. There we go. Okay, there's only 7 to 12 common objections in the industry. Shout out to none other than, I looked and I just happened to see none other than the Lyman Montgomery is on here. Like the man himself, like the number one African-American focus expert on the entire planet. Like, I mean, I'm talking about the guy that just lives, breathes, and sleeps focus. Now, I live, breathe, and sleep sales. That's all I do. This guy just changed my life. I think it was like 57 days ago. I don't even know what day I'm on. I think I'm on 57 or 58. Where every morning I wake up, talk about being focused in a presentation. Every day, every morning, every evening, I wake up thinking 3 things. 1, I am focused. So that automatically says, Shay, what are you going to focus on? And I think it might be the number one skill that we all can really tune into. And then the second way, midway through the day, I say, I remained focused. So I will remain focused. So sometimes on the day there's distractions and things happen. There's major and minor. And then the last one, this is just out to Lyman. Because Lyman, I'm telling you, that job, if you haven't connected with Lyman, I'm going to seriously consider you to do that. I mean, I consider him a mentor. I'm his number one student. He doesn't know that yet. But you tell him, say, Shay Brown says he's going to be your number one student. You just tell Shay what you want to do. He's going to follow it. He's going to follow it. And the last one, sometimes you learn something. It's like a game changer. And I probably read 5 to 6 books a month. I attend a lot of seminars. I watch a lot of videos. I work with a lot of folks. But the last point he said is say, the night when you go to bed, you say, I thank God that I remain focused today. I'm going to tell you, those are the 3 easy steps. You do that, game changer. Game changer. And I'm going into this month, this new opportunity, this new year, focused. Because Lyman Montgomery, this is for you, my man. I am focused. Okay. They say, Shay, you're not. You forgot. Don't worry. Shout out to my man, Lyman Montgomery. He's out there in, I think, Bloomington, Indiana. Great guy. Him and his wife. I understand his wife's back home now. Okay. So we got minor and major. Shay, what is a major? Oh, get back to being focused. You're supposed to put down the type of objections that you have that are out there, right, by the way. But let's just say a major objection, just in time, is... I put it in red just so you and I can have some fun. No money. Now, if they really, sometimes they always say they don't have the money, and you've got to do a few things, which I'm going to teach you, to discover if they don't. But sometimes they just don't have the money. That could be a major objection. And if they don't have the money, they just don't have the money. There's nothing you can do. You got to move on. See, I call that a major objection, by the way. So just know that. Okay, now let's get down teaching the secret 5-step formula. Woo! That I want to share. I wonder if I could hit my computer. What do you think? Ah, missed. Okay. So I still got one more shot. Okay, as we go. Dang it. Okay, the formula, 5 steps. Before I do that, can I slow down for a moment? Can I get focused? And can I just, I had to say that. Can I share with you, let's list the common objections. Because something that was shared with me that I'm going to share with you that helped me break through and really generate revenue in my business and also help our clients. is this distinction. There's only 7 to 12 common objections in any industry. There's only 7 to 12 common objections, and this is really good. So you think about it. If you had your list, you say no money, no time, I want to think about it. That might be one. I tried it before, it didn't work. Send me something in writing. That's 5. Okay, I hear you. Okay. I had to talk it over with my partner or wife or spouse. Okay, thank you. Thank you for telling me. Thank you for telling me that. You work with people, okay, could be under contract. Is that what you're saying? Is that what I'm hearing? Okay. I don't want to touch you. This is you. This is you, the happy go. You know, this person's always with me, by the way. Have you ever noticed, you ever watched me when I'm here at we call the board of unlimited revenue, and I'm here on this board? I always bring you along. And you're always smiling because you're there, because you know what this content would do for you. So I won't write on your head. Don't worry. Number 7, under contract. I don't know which other ones. If they are, you put them out there. Hey, Sandra, good to see you, and good to connect with many of you that are watching. These are 7 to 12 common objections. So there's only 7 to 12 common objections in any industry. So wouldn't it make sense for us to understand the common objections and then have a response to the objection? Now, sales millionaires, first time you heard that term, okay. Sales millionaires, these are folks in the top 0.5% of individuals in the world, where they earn over $500,000 a year based on commission sales. Hear me. The average sales superstar, the average coach or speaker or author or trainer, or even if you're a network marketer or you're an entrepreneur, the average only has maybe 1 or 2 responses to every objection. Maybe 1 or 2. So if you and I were talking and we got to the presentation and I said, I don't have the money, you might have a response that you drifted into as part of your language patterns by accident. And that's where you feel comfortable. Or if I say, I've got to talk it with my partner, you say about the same thing the same way every single time. The sales millionaires, the ones that I've studied, my most successful clients, the person who's prepared, they have 15 to 20 responses for every objection. They're a little more advanced than you, I understand. They've been studying this a lot longer than you than I understand. Why do they have 15 to 20 responses for every one objection, Shay? Why, Shay? Can you explain that to me? Because it doesn't make sense to me. Who would spend that amount of time? Who? And why? Early episode, I hope you got to see that one. If you didn't, don't worry. Just make sure you subscribe so you can get it. We talked about personality-based sales. And I shared the different personalities that sales folks have and the different client types that are out there. So they understand that different objections are for different personality types. I don't have time to get into that right now. The distinction I want you to have is that you need at least minimum 5 objection techniques for every single one objection. So if you had 5 and there's 7, there's only 35. So you can memorize that, considering that the formula that I'm going to share here and some additional formulas, you can use the same formula here. So it's possible you can learn just 5 techniques and apply them to all 7 objection hand techniques. Isn't that great? And you got to think about it. You're talking to the person. Let's say you wait to get to the end of the presentation, and the person's right on the fence. They're right there. They got a few objections, and they're thinking, should I do it? Should I not do it? Should I do it? Should I not do it? And oftentimes, you're not trying to push them over. You're not trying to persuade them. You're just trying to keep the conversation going. And in doing so, that could be the difference between, poof, a $10,000 sale or jingle, jingle, let me get the keys, and you head on back to the office with no sale. Could be the difference. So pay close attention, because this conversation I'm about to have over the next few minutes that we don't have so much time. The conversation is really for you, because I'm here to serve. I really am. I'm on a mission. I'm going to help 10,000 entrepreneurs build their 7-figure sales team over the next year. And I'm going to invite you to be part of that journey. And as you're part of that journey, you can take and go train your team on how to handle objections. And you can generate revenue with no labor. You can generate revenue at no cost. Feels good. Sounds good. So let's go ahead right now. They're so close. Let me give you one more distinction. I wasn't going to share this, but I want you to have this. That your job, when you're handling objections, your job, this is you. This is you up here. Your job when you handle an objection is not to overcome the objection. So when you get to the end and you ask the person, how do you feel about moving forward? And they have some type of distinction, your job is not to overcome the objection. Your job is just to keep the conversation going. If they buy, they buy. If they don't, they don't. Now, we're going to assume, for the purpose of this exercise, that we're going to handle the objection at the end. We've talked to them. We've qualified them. They're ready to go. We asked the question, how do you feel about moving forward? We asked the question, is now a good time to get started? We asked the question, would you like to work with our company? Whatever the question is, we talked about that on the last episode. You've asked that now. And so now they say, I don't have the money. I don't have the time. I've got to think about it. So now let me go ahead, if I can, let me go ahead and share with you 5 steps that you can use. Keep the conversation going. That's it. Step number 1, jot this down in your notes. I think we have a couple ideas here. Let me share those with you. Hold on. Okay, so we've got a couple of highlighted points that we're going to highlight and bring directly to you that are going to help you. And the reason I want you to have these 5 highlights, because there's really 5 things that you can do. First, I want you to arm and make sure your team has this knowledge. Because without this, they're going to work way too hard. Without this, they're going to find themselves in a position to really not be able to answer questions. So let's say I get to the end of the presentation, we're going to role play, and I say, how do you feel about moving forward? The person says, I don't have the time. I've got to think about it. I've got to talk with my business partner. Step number 1, first hear them out. If you want to get a picture of this, it's fine. I'll step over here for a moment. I'll move this up. I'll give you a second. Go ahead, go to your computer screen right now, get a photo of this. And you can write it down as I go. I'm going to walk you through it. But first, hear them out completely. Sometimes I'm there with folks and persons get ready to say, well, we've tried this before. I'm not sure. Well, I know you may have tried before, but let me tell you. And they jump right in. Not you anymore. Not you. Step number 1, hear them out completely. Step number 2, no matter what they say, we're going to use some language patterns that softens up the conversation. Now, your team needs this knowledge. You may need this knowledge as well, by the way. There's nothing wrong with getting a refresher. I'm always learning, because when do you stop learning? You never, ever stop learning. So you're going to say, I completely understand how you feel. A little leading language. Perhaps before you start, you may say something like, some of my best clients have felt that way where they tried it and it didn't work. You're going to be honest. You're going to be sincere. You'll tell a true story. You're not going to make something up. Another one might be, I completely understand how you feel. This is a big decision. That's right. They can be spending $100 with us. I was on the phone with a client just 2 days ago, and it was a purchase. It was $197. I'm on the phone. It's 10:30 at night. We're having a conversation. And I asked him to take a step and put together a special offer. And that's $197. Now, some of you, $197 is not a big deal. I get it. I get it. You do much bigger deals. But it was $197. It's not a good thing or a bad thing. It just is what it is. I'm talking to the person, and they handed me an objection, which they've been in a number of group coaching programs before. You know what I said? I completely understand how you feel. This is a big decision because every dollar you spend in your company is a big decision. You see, yeah, it's important to me. It's important to me. Now, I did get the deal. Just to let you know, they did go online and put a credit card in. But that's not the point. I want you to first know one of the objection techniques I use. Now, question and isolate the objection. Now, you can isolate the objections. The person I got to talk about with my partner, you could use language pattern like this. Jot this down in your notes. It's called the isolated technique. Other than blank, I'm sure you have some other concerns. That's the question at the end. Would you like to share any of those concerns with me? So the person says, I don't have the time. Other than not having the time, you got it, fill in the blank. I'm sure you have some other concerns. Would you like to share any other concerns with me? Other than you need to talk it over with your partner. We're going to question, we're going to isolate with the question. So other than you need to talk it over with your husband, I'm sure you have some other concerns. Would you like to share any other concerns with me? Because when would you want to know? Like really, seriously, when would you want to know that the client has a challenge? Now? Or would you rather wait till the next session and the next session and the next session? You'd rather know now. Okay, step number one, you're going to hear them out completely. Step number two of one, you're going to put a softening phrase in front. Step number three, you're going to answer the objection. A simple phrase might be, here's what I'm going to suggest. So, I understand you want to speak it over with your partner. Quick question. If your partner says yes, what are you going to do? See, I isolate the objection. I end it with a question. So, I'm now going to let them answer their own question. I understand, Lyman, that you want to think about it. Other than thinking about it, I'm sure you have some other concerns. I'm going to suggest that you take a step, hold or reserve your spot via credit card or wire payment, and if you change your mind, we'll give you money back. Now remember, my job is not to convince them to do anything. My job is just to keep the conversation going. See, we'll role play in a minute. Step number 4, I just want you to have at least the 5-step formula. Because I want you to know what you're going to say. I want you to know when you're going to say it. I want you to know why you're going to say it. I don't want you to wing it because you're so close to getting the deal. You're so close to getting the deal because when you ask them how do they feel about moving forward, when you ask them to sign the contract, there was only 3 things they could say. They could say yes, which does happen, but maybe not often enough for any of us, myself included. Number 2, they could say no, which, let's face it, that rarely happens. They rarely someone to say no. If they do, they've done us all a favor. Thank you, because I don't want to waste no more of your time or my time. That's my feeling, because I only got so much time. Or they could do number 3, which is highly likely. Give you an objection that you already know and can be prepared for prior to them saying it. Makes sense? So you're going to confirm after you've responded. Step number 4 is we want to confirm their answer or confirm they heard you. So you might say, does that answer the question for you? Does that make sense? Let me tell you a story about one of our clients. You can use a story technique to handle objection. Now, Lyman is a little different than car. It's a little different than car, by the way, but it works. So the question technique goes like this. This is the leading language. That reminds me of a client. I'm using Lyman because he was on here earlier, but I'll use anyone. Kevin, that reminds me of a client that was just like you. They wanted to think about it. You tell a true story. They wanted to think about it. One of the reasons they took a step with us and work with our company is benefit, benefit, benefit. We talk about benefits on another episode. It's because of benefit, benefit, benefit. I feel you could enjoy those same benefits, Kevin. What do you say we give it a try? Does that make sense? See, you can do that. Now, some of you might want to go back and listen to this a second time or a third time or fourth time. These ideas got to be burned into your subconscious mind. But I'm sharing with you what the sales millionaires are doing. I'm sharing with you what the folks that are earning the income of over $250,000 or even 6 figures from just commissions alone, not investments, but just commissions. Have I satisfied your question? And step number 5 is we're always going to be asked for the deal. We're always going to ask for the deal. We don't want to just leave it out there. We want to continue to ask, A-S-K, continue to ask for the deal. So if I was summing it up as you're looking, I believe up there now, I would sum it up and say that we're going to ask, we're going to probe, and we're going to confirm. Write that down. We're going to ask, we're going to probe, and we're going to confirm. That's the whole technique. It may sound simple like common sense, but I'll say 80 to 90% of your competition don't do this. And so they struggle day and day with common objections. Now, if you want to be handling objections easily, if you want to stop struggling with objections, if you want objections to kind of like, you want to like eat objections lunch, for lack of a better term, then we've got to ask, probe, and confirm. Jot that down in your notes. Ask, probe, and confirm. Put that in your notes. Ask, do what? Probe, and confirm. Okay. Oops, did it come back to me yet? There it is right there. Okay. Let's talk about the easy 6. Because there's 6 things that you can do just to make sure you're in the game. I think I got some bonus stuff over here. There's 6 things, and I want to share these with you because you're so close. You're right there. And this, on your very next presentation, what I love about what I'm sharing, what I love about you listening right now, what I love about you spending this time is this is very precious minutes that will put money in your pocket for the rest of your life. I promise you. You get better at training your team on how to handle objections. You're going to make more sales with less effort. I promise you're going to help more people. I promise you're going to go after larger accounts. I promise you'll have peace of mind. I promise the stress level will come down because the anxiety for many of us, and I've been there, and I'm still there sometimes as well. And I've got to remind myself of these techniques because I'm in the conversation. I'm so involved when you get to the end, and I've got to ask for the order, and I know there's objections. It hits me in the face like a ton of bricks. And it happens to all of us, myself included. So I understand where you're coming from. I've been there. I feel your sincerity in wanting to help the client. And I believe that you're doing the best you can. But you can do better now because, as Maya Angelou says, when you know better, you do better. And when you do better, you help more people. So let's do something a little different. Let's expand our comfort zone. Let's go out there. Let's make it different. Let me give you the easy 6 because this is you. You understand your job. You understand how to handle objections. You understand the 2 kinds of objections. You've got some techniques that you can arm yourself with when you're speaking to the prospect. You know you only have to keep the conversation going. But let's talk about 6 things that I want you to write down, write down, write down. Don't miss these. Please, if you didn't put down anything else on here, put these 6 in your notes. Put them in your wallet. Put them in your Evernote. Put them in your note section inside of your phone. You want these 6. Let me share this with you quickly. Number 1, listen to the objection. Just listen. Just listen to the entire objection till they have nothing else to say. Because sometimes they'll start off with, I don't have the money, money's tight, I don't just go spending money, there was nothing in the budget. But I'm thinking, and you don't want to jump in, because sometimes they may answer their own question. So just listen to the entire objection, and then ask the question, is that all? Now you can come back. Now, if you don't ask the question at all, you can use one of my favorite techniques. It's 1 sentence. It's 1 sentence. If you've been to any of my trainings, you know the one way I love to handle objections in the very beginning is with a question. Is that your only concern? I listen. And then when I ask the question, is that your only concern? I don't have the time, Shay. Is that your only concern? Banner right back to him. I've got to talk with my partner, Shay. Is that your only concern? Shay, can you send me some information? Is that your only concern? Shay, I just don't have the time. Oh, you already know. Is that your only concern? Okay, but I listen first. Say it back to the prospect. That's a little advanced for some of you. So is that your only concern, that you don't have the time? Is that your only concern, that you don't have the money? Is that your only concern, you got to talk it over with your wife or your husband or your dog or your goldfish or whatever it may be? Is that your only concern. You can do this. You can do this. You can do this. I promise you, you can. Number 3 is explore the reason why. I think I got that on the slide. Explore the reason why. Sometimes the first objections aren't the prospect's real concern. For example, sometimes the prospects don't want to admit that they don't have enough money to buy what we're offering. Sometimes they got some other commitments. So we've got to explore. Tell me more about that could be in a way we explore. We're going to draw it out a little more inside of them. We're asking, we're probing, and we are confirming. So one way you can handle that is tell me more about that. Shay, I'm under contract right now. Tell me more about that. Shay, if you knew the situation, my boss doesn't like to really have me spend this kind of money. Are you authorized to do it? You said you were. Yes, but he doesn't like me to do this. Well, tell me more about that. Well, I've made some bad decisions in the past. Or he's looking at cutting people, and I just don't put myself in a bad position. We don't know what the prospects are going to say, and I don't want you to try to act like you can read their mind, or you're a genie, or you can predict the future or 100% certain. I just want you to listen, say it back, and explore the reason. Listen, say it back, explore the reason. Listen, say it back, explore the reason. Oh, you're a great student. You're a great student. Okay, then we're going to answer the objection, check back in with the prospect, gave you some questions over here, and then we're going to redirect the conversation. We're going to take the conversation to an entirely different level, to an entirely different place. And you know what? You, my friend, you can do this. Because after you've done that, then you get to step back. You get to step back and show. You get to, boy, this is interesting. There we go. You get to step back and show them the value. So we're going to show them the value, which are the benefits on why they should do what they do. That's the key. You know, recently I was working with someone on our team, and we were role-playing sharing the benefits. And as we were role-playing sharing the benefits, the person felt like it was a waste of their time. They said, Shay, I'm better when I'm there. I think on my feet. I've got to feel the situation. I got to see what's going on. The awareness has to be there. But I went through the drill again and again. Is that your only concern? Tell me more about that. What would need to happen if you were to do it? When would you do it? What's one of the reasons you would do it if you could right now? You might want to write that question down. I don't have time to get into all those. We talk about question techniques on another episode. But if you were to do it right now, why would you do it? The person went out. The very next day, they were on a presentation, just like you very well could be later today, tomorrow, the next day. You could be on a presentation. And because you were in this conversation, these ideas are top of mind to you. I'm planting this software, this sales software on your brain. I'm installing it right now, so it's there. And you can handle objections like this person did. And that was a $10,000 sale. They netted like a $3,000 commission. Not bad. And they said one of the reasons why is that they were very comfortable. Their voice rate. See, sometimes you get to the end and someone has an objection, the person becomes wimpy. Oh, if it's okay with you, I'll get back. Let's talk again. I don't want to upset you. Or they don't know how to handle it. Their voice rate changes. Their tonality changes. The mood changes. Their physiology changes. But not her. This time around, she said, I waited for it. I listened. And I did the best I could by asking the questions. And here's what I want you to know. If she can do it one time, this is what I shared with her, and I'm going to share it with you. If you can do it one time, I said, you can do it 1,000 times. And you have that distinction. Just like you have these distinctions now. When you train your sales team, you have these distinctions for the rest of your life. There's a lifetime benefit of you being here. And I'm so excited that you are. I'm really glad that you're here. I mean, I couldn't think of a better place for you to be right now than where you are. A couple of steps that I want you to take as you close up. One is train your sales team to confidently handle objections. Role play, Test every opportunity you get. Practice, practice, practice. So in a real time, they would have practiced this thing maybe 1,000 times before they're in a real situation. But whatever you do, don't practice on the prospect. Don't do that. Please don't do that. And number 2, create a solution to the objection that shows value and will benefit the client. See, you do those 2 things, and you're already ahead of the pack. This is a very important conversation. How to train your 7-figure sales team. How to handle objections with confidence and ease so you don't come across as salesy or pushy or arm-twisting or manipulative. You get to be who you are, your own authentic self, in your own voice, and have a conversation that you really want to have on how you can help the person today and in the future. So here's the one takeaway. Demonstrating how your product or service best solves your customer needs will surpass your customers' objections. Our job is just to keep the conversation going. You have that distinction, but we have to demonstrate it in what we say, when we say it, and how we say it at the end of the day. I want you to know that you are just a very special person. You're an entrepreneur, you're a speaker, you're a business owner, you're an author, maybe you're a coach, maybe you're a network marketer, or maybe you're a thought leader, but you're here. You woke up this morning with an opportunity for a brand new day. You showed up for this particular session. You're listening at this moment in time. And I want you to know that your best days are ahead of you. I want you to know that when you're in this sales presentation or this conversation and you get around objections, and sometimes you get frustrated because you don't get the deal, I want you to know a couple things. 3 words. Never give up. Never give up. Never give up. Never give up. You keep on going because you, my friend, you, my entrepreneur, you, my fellow person in this industry, you are going to build your 7-figure sales team. You're going to generate revenue with no cost. You're going to generate revenue with no labor. And if you don't want to sell it, you will hire. That's the best thing you can do. You will hire someone who does, because you will handle objections. You're a winner. I know it. You're a champion. I know it. You're someone that's special. You're unique. You were here for a purpose. You're going to change lives. You're going to make a difference. This is your moment. This is your minute. This is your time. This is your day. This is the conversation. And I know and I believe that you are going to build your 7-figure sales team. And even if you don't believe it, like Shay, I try to stay away from that stuff. Just tell yourself every single day you wake up, without a shadow of a doubt, with every fiber of energy I have in me right now, that I, Shay Brown, I believe in you. And I know if you're hearing this message, and I know if you take action on any one of these, I believe you're going to build your 7-figure sales team. I believe you're going to generate revenue with no labor. I believe you're going to generate revenue at no cost. And I believe you're going to make a bigger difference. I believe in you. Put that on your little refrigerator. Put a little sticky up anytime there's a little doubt. That's not true. That's not true. You tell yourself that Shay Brown holds the belief in me. Because I'm going to believe in you until you believe in yourself. So with that being said, do 3 things. Be humble. Yeah, be humble. Go out there and serve the best you can. Stay hungry. Always be learning. Be a student. Always. And number 3, hustle. Give your best. You survived your worst days. There are better days ahead of you. I know that with 100% certainty. The best is yet to come. So be humble, stay hungry, and always hustle. You do those 3 things, and you will make the next 30 days the best 30 days of your life. With that being said, my name is Shay Brown, the sales cardiologist. Make it a great day, everyone. And we're going to make good things happen. We connect again next time. I'll see you soon, and God bless.